Hey there guys, Artistic Nick here, thanks for the click. In today's drawing tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to draw realistic clouds using only pencil. Hey guys, welcome to today's video. I'm just going to show you how to draw some realistic clouds. I'm nearing the end of this commissioned piece here, which is of a tornado fighter jet. It's taken me about 10 hours so far, and I decided to add a background to this. So I wanted to go for some clouds that weren't too in your face and weren't taking anything away from the drawing. So let's get straight to it. I'm going to use a 2B pencil for this. I'm also going to use a kneaded eraser, and I'm also using a clean tissue paper. When you look at clouds, you'll notice that there are darker areas and lighter areas as anything that you're going to draw. The thing with clouds is they're very free flowing and they don't have an awful lot of form to them. So I'm drawing darker areas, as you can see throughout the clouds that I've drawn, using this 2B pencil, and I'm just very roughly making some circular motions and just trying to get some graphite laid down into these darker areas. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to take my tissue paper, I'm going to fold it so that I've got a corner or a pointed end, and again using a similar motion, a circular motion, I'm just going to start moving the graphite around. Now what this does is it gives you a very nondescript type of edge to it, which is exactly what clouds have. They don't have very firm edges and a lot of definition in there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my kneaded eraser or putty eraser, and I'm just going to bring it into a point, and I'm just going to start taking out some of the graphite by dabbing on. Again, not making sure that I'm not being too regimented or too structured with this, because again, we don't want these clouds to look artificial. So I'm bringing out a bit of a highlight, I'm stippling almost, I'm pressing on and dotting in certain areas. And then what I can do is I can go over again with my tissue paper and just smooth some of that out. And I'm going to repeat this process throughout the drawing, trying to make sure that I've got some of the darker areas in the correct places. Now you can use a reference for this. There's plenty of images on Google Images. If you just type in clouds, cloudy skies, something like that, you'll get some fantastic reference images. But I've drawn clouds that many times now that I've actually just free-handed this in. One thing to remember is try and make sure that you have got a general direction of light. So as you can see with my clouds that I've got here, the darker areas are sort of all on this right hand side of most of my clouds, and I'm going to bring the highlights out towards the right hand side, so the left hand side of the darker areas. But one thing to remember when we're looking at clouds and we're actually trying to interpret them, you can sometimes have a lighter area in a place that doesn't necessarily fit in with the general direction of the light. One of the things that we say with light sources is they tend to hit things that are further in front. So if we're looking at somebody's face, we're going to see that the nose is the part that's protruding the most, and we're going to have a highlight there. Whereas with clouds, you can look at a portion of the sky and you can actually see lighter areas which are further back. So just bearing that in mind, you don't need to necessarily be absolutely spot on with the direction of the light, but we want a general idea. So again, I'm going in with the kneaded eraser, I'm just bringing in some highlights, and if I wanted to make some real highlights, I'm going to bring it to a point and I'm just going to bring this out as a highlight, and I'm just going to repeat the process. So very lightly with my 2B pencil, bringing out a darker area, a darker side of the cloud, and then going to use the tissue paper. You can also use a Q-tip. One thing to bear in mind when you are using either a Q-tip or the tissue paper is don't press too hard. You don't want to be damaging the tooth of the paper, and you don't want to be grinding the graphite of the pencil too deep down into the tooth of the paper, because what's going to happen then is when you try and remove some of the graphite with the highlights, you're going to struggle to remove enough to make it have enough contrast to make them look realistic. Like I say, it's a very simple technique. It requires a little bit of patience, but I'm sure that you can get the idea and the general feeling of how we are starting to produce this. These clouds have taken me, I would say, best part of 2.5 hours so far. So I think I've probably got another hour or so until I'm happy with them. Like I say, I don't want to take too much emphasis away from the actual aeroplane itself. I want that to be the centre and focal point of the drawing. So making sure that I'm not going too dark and I'm not getting too many edges that are too contrasty with the plane itself. Once I've brought some highlights out there, I can use the tissue paper again, and I'm just lightly in a circular motion going through that. If you're enjoying my videos so far, I'm really enjoying making them, then don't forget, give me a thumbs up. Why not subscribe to the channel? You can also get hold of me on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. The links to all of my social media platforms are down below in the descriptions. It'd be great to hear from you. If you've got any requests or something you'd like me to draw, or maybe there's a tutorial you'd like me to cover, then leave me a comment down below. Have you got any other ideas for drawing clouds? Maybe you're well versed in drawing with colour markers or pencil crayons, and how would you go about drawing clouds if you were working on a piece yourself? I'd love to know down below what's your favourite method of drawing clouds. I find it very therapeutic actually drawing clouds like this, because I'm not having to work off of a reference image too much and having to be ultra detailed. It's just something that you can do whilst really relaxing and just adding that final layer to a piece. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope this has helped. I'll see you in the next video. Hit subscribe, smack the notifications button, follow me on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter.